Salutations, everybody. It is Matty here today. Hope you're all doing absolutely excellent. It's time to talk about some Xbox handhelds. Been a lot of mystery around this one. Reminds me a lot of 2020 where it was like, is PlayStation going to go first? Is Xbox going to go first? Who's going to do the price reveal sooner? Now, we knew based on leaks where the Xbox Ally was trending in the terms of price and release date, but a lot of us were wondering, like, hey, is Xbox going to pull the trigger, especially after the Tokyo Game Show showcase went by with no word on the ROG Xbox Ally? We're all sitting there going, when are they going to pull the trigger on this thing, man? Well, we got a new trailer for the Xbox Ally, and you won't find the price in there. A lot of us immediately sniffed this one out. Just rumors and leaks aside, we immediately sniffed out, based on the Switch 2 Direct, they're hiding the price. That likely doesn't mean anything good. Well, if you thought the $450 Nintendo Switch 2 was a bit of sticker shock, get ready because the highest level of the Xbox Ally is going to blow your hair back. Now, we're going to dive into this. We're going to dive into how pre-orders are doing, which might surprise you a little bit. We're also going to dive into what Phil Spencer said about the price of certain consoles, and then follow-up comments from other former Xbox executives and bring it all into one full conversation. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're new here and you're into what's going on with Xbox, consider subscribing. So, drum roll please. The price for the Xbox Ally, as confirmed over on Best Buy and now everywhere, $600 for the lowest SKU, $1,000 for the highest SKU. Whoa, that's a lot of money, dude. Okay, based on the leaks and everything, this thing's shot up, right? Like, we were expecting 900 initially, a little bit lower than that at one point. Like, this thing has jumped almost a range of $200 if you paid attention to the leaks. Now, I'm not going to fully hold Xbox to that because, in fairness, they didn't announce it and then jump it up like they've done with other consoles. I'm just looking at it from, like, as someone who tracked the behind-the-scenes info of where Xbox was and where they were trending. This was originally so much more of an affordable device, but now we are looking at the most niche upon niche of PC handhelds. But does that mean it's going to sell poorly? I think there is a story to be told in what the PS Portal did. Now, to be fair, before anyone comes at me, yeah, like a $200 handheld for a lot of people out there with some means can be like, screw it. They'll be like, I don't want a new piece of hardware. Why not, right? You can kind of F it and buy a PS Portal, no problem. But with a $1,000 handheld, it's a bit of a different story. But however, the PS Portal sold out, sold well. It had a bad rep at first, but they continued to update it. And there's a story about, in those continuous updates, just gradually turning it around. And the public perception of the PS Portal is a lot more positive now, a lot more accepted. In fact, the last thing I expected from it all is when the PlayStation 6 handheld rumors started to break out, is people looking at the Portal going, hey, they still got it in the handheld space. Maybe not in form factor design, but they still do have it in the terms of a great handheld experience. So you can defy the odds in the handheld space is what I'm saying. And sometimes all of us speaking out here on the internet may not represent those who have a lot of money to spend. And people are spending money. Xbox posts on social media, the hype is real. ROG Xbox Ally X pre-orders are sold out on the Xbox store worldwide. You can still grab yours on the Asus store. Now keep in mind, okay, there's two versions of the ROG Ally. There is the Xbox Ally, that's the cheaper one. The Xbox Ally X that's selling out right now, that's the $1,000 version. I didn't expect it to be selling out anywhere. Now, to be fair, depending on the stock and how many you've made, you can make like 50 and go, we sold out, we did it. So I'll temper it a little bit here. But yeah, if you go to the Xbox store, you'll see it's sold out. If you go to Asus's store, you'll see that you can still pre-order the lower level handheld. However, the Ally X over there has sold out. Meanwhile, on Best Buy, it is still available there if you're interested in pre-ordering, but it is selling out on a couple of storefronts. I will be honest, if you've listened to me on Defining Duke, I'll call myself out. I did not expect this. Now, how many total units that ends up being, again, I'm going to wait and see. I don't know if because Asus is involved, if we'll ever actually get that number. I know certainly if it's Xbox's decision, we'll get nothing but engagement numbers in the terms of like 50% more people are playing on handheld via the cloud. What I would give for actual sales numbers from Xbox. You have no idea how easier it would make for the conversation to go, how easier it would be for all of us to do our job if we didn't have a lot of guesswork around Xbox. But this $1,000 price tag has brought up, yes, a Phil Spencer quote. One that was, yes, quite recent, and one that, yes, did not age well at all. So, Phil Spencer was speaking with Rolling Stone, speaking with Bloomberg, and he said a number of things in regards to the PlayStation 5 Pro. When speaking to Rolling Stone, he was really reconfirming that there will be future consoles, there will be future hardware, because remember, at this time, Xbox earlier that year had shifted completely to what seemed to be a third-party publisher approach. In doing that, a lot of us went, the hardware is going away, but Xbox, in fairness, has completely doubled down. The AMD partnership announcement, like they've really made sure, hey, we're still doing this thing. So in speaking about the hardware, here's something Phil said. We think about hardware that can create unique value for our players or creators on our platform, he said. We don't need to do incremental hardware for our own benefit. Does a new device really give you a unique experience on screen in some way? It's less like the old days of going from the original Xbox to 360. That was standard definition to high definition. Now it's harder to show the benefits. And this is one quote. We'll get to the magic quote in a moment, but this is one quote that I look at and think of the Ally X. For Xbox, it does create the unique value of like, hey, this is a handheld PC to experience your Xbox games on. However, when you think about the marketing messaging powering that Xbox Ally and how it's about this is an Xbox, but the reality is that Xbox Play Anywhere isn't supported enough for everything to be an Xbox yet. So it's just a marketing message that's kind of become a bit of a meme that's not really backed up tremendously. Like some new games are being paid to support it, no doubt about it, but many companies are like, go buy it on PC if you want to play it on your handheld PC. So for this is an Xbox to reach the level where the Xbox Ally is truly an ally to your Xbox and create that unique value, it needs to function like an Xbox on the go. The most exciting other value proposition, I think, for the Xbox Ally has to be the new UI, the new approach to offloading Windows to give more battery life, more processes towards the games that you're running despite Windows being there on the back end. Some tests have been done by others online. There's a video by a YouTuber called The Fox, which showed that even with Windows fully active, he was still getting double battery life. So it started to create this interesting conversation of like, Windows blow it or no? But to Phil's point here, it does create unique value for Xbox specifically. However, incremental hardware, when you look at the rest of the hardware space, and in particular what the ROG Ally is to the Xbox Ally, it is definitely a little bit more powerful, no doubt about it, but that's it. Like it's incremental. So it's a little bit hypocritical in that way. And to me, it just sounds like a quick way to speed run the testing of a handheld before you do your own official Xbox One without Asus. However, where the foot gets firmly inserted in the mouth is when Phil was talking about the PS5 Pro, which started at $700, a big time sticker shock. So what did Phil Spencer have to say about this? He talked his talk. Speaking with Bloomberg, he said, to reach new players, we need to be creative and adaptive of new business models, new devices, new ways of access. We're not going to grow the market with $1,000 consoles. This quote was from November of last year. So pre-tariffs, pre-holy crap, everything's more expensive, like pre-all of that. But a lot of us before even the tariffs were saying we think the next-gen consoles are going to be over $1,000. And now here we have a companion device, mind you, like a companion device, when it's already a competitive market with the Steam Deck, which, by the way, if you're looking at this video and you're like, Matty, what handheld do I get? I still think it's almost impossible to beat the Steam Deck OLED for how much you're paying, how much value you get, how well it runs, how many games it plays well, the beauty of the screen. Like, it is one of my favorite handhelds ever. It kicks so much ass, especially, again, for the money you pay for it and what you get out of it. It's wonderful. I know Phil's talking more so about consoles here, but if your niche handheld companion device is $1,000, I can't imagine what your next-gen Xbox is going to be. No doubt it's going to pass $1,000. And it is true what he says here. I don't think the market grows if you're telling people basically to pay over $1,000 for a console. Why do I say that? It's simply because the beauty of the console and why so many of us got into gaming is because of the accessibility of it. Not just financially, but the ease of it. If you want the complexity of a PC, and I know it's gotten less complex over the year, but if you want that complexity, you go and buy and build a PC. Right? You go and mess with Windows, you have these inconsistent performances. Sometimes you have the best on the market, you're winning, you're part of the master race. And sometimes you're like, I don't know why I got like a 5090 in my rig and this thing barely runs. Like, it's just that catch-22 of PC gaming. The beauty of the consoles was the simplicity and the accessibility of like, hey, I have the game disc, in it goes, game run. I don't got to think about it. Nice, simple, and of course, affordable. I know gaming has grown a lot, so the way spending habits have changed too, but I don't care if you're a niche device or the next console. Over $1,000 is a tough pill to swallow no matter who you are, and I know pretty much everyone watching this video, hardcore gamers, like, you're talking to the right audience, and we're like, really? So I do think Phil's right. It's just so funny to see in this new world where he's like, well, yeah, that's not one way to grow it, but we're going to do it anyway. So in this, Mike Ibarra has spoken a bit about the console price increases. Now, Mike Ibarra was formerly an Xbox executive, also an Activision executive, and he wrote, console price increases are not tariff issues, they are profit issues. And the reason why profits are not where they should be is a far, far deeper issue versus the tariff excuse. Now, you've heard me kind of murmuring a similar song before, although I think as someone who's not a former executive at a multi-billion-dollar company, what he says maybe holds a little bit more weight than I. That aside, though, I've said for a while that I do feel the tariff excuse kind of pulls the wool over the eye of the consumer. Sometimes it is legitimate. It's like, okay, yeah, this makes sense. Other times, it does not make sense. Xbox, as a company pushing profit, as I talked about with the recent price jumps for the second time this year with Xbox hardware, in my opinion, is trying to make their systems profitable. So any unit sold, they're making money off of it. As we've seen historically with video game consoles, they were never profitable. You would lose money on them. In fact, they were built to lose money, to keep them cheap and affordable, because you cannot grow the actual audience if you're selling them for over $1,000. Hell, even floating around there is crazy. So they would eat the cost on manufacturing the hardware, and then they'd get you on software. That's why exclusive software was really important. Why was exclusive software really important? Because instead of like the 30%, the cuts between the developers, all that stuff, you would get all that money in-house. You own the platform, you get 100% of that pie. You make a ton of money. If your exclusives are banging, like you're a PlayStation, you're a Nintendo, and hey, during a generation with the 360, Xbox's exclusives were banging. Like when you're banging, boom, you're making a lot of money. Doesn't matter if you're losing money on every hardware bought, because people are buying dozens upon dozens of games from you, many of them really high quality, interesting exclusives. That's how the business has always been. So I don't want to go full confirmation bias like Mike Ibarra is saying a thing that I've kind of been suggesting for a while, so therefore it is true. But what I am trying to say is we do have to look at the broader picture here of where console and even handheld prices are trending and why they're trending that way. Yes, tariffs are real. Yes, they're having a real world impact. Yes, things are going up in value. But we're seeing Xbox tremendously jump the gun here, I think, in the terms of hardware to make it profitable for themselves. And it's being passed on to the consumer as a macroeconomic environment condition. And at a certain point, you just can't expect the consumer in the store to do the mental gymnastics of the hows and whys this price is there. The price could be totally legitimate, but you're not going to sit there and do all that. You're going to be like, screw that. I don't want to spend that much money, and move on. And probably go spend your money elsewhere, which is not good for Xbox. So yeah, even with the leaks, seeing this thing hit $1,000, no wonder they didn't put it in the trailer, because they're like, yeah, people aren't going to like that. That's not good at all. It's not competitive. And if you're reviewing this thing, for example, like, I don't know how you could ever feel comfortable telling some people to spend like $1,000 on this thing. It's like, if you got the money to blow, go for it, I guess. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, those are my thoughts. That's my rant on what's going on here with the Xbox Ally. Not a pretty price point, but nonetheless, looking forward to getting your thoughts down below. Are you picking one up? Maybe I'm in the minority here. Curious how you feel. Other than that, though, take excellent care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all.